Welcome to the Daily English Learning Podcast.
Hello to all our fantastic listeners around the globe, and welcome back to another engaging episode of the English Learning Podcast, where we break down interesting topics into clear and natural English conversation. I am your host, Olivia, and I am incredibly happy to be sitting here in the studio once again with my wonderful co-host, Martin.
Hello, everyone, and a huge thank you for downloading this episode and inviting us into your ears today. I am feeling very excited because we are going to talk about something that literally everyone is using right now to listen to us: technology.
That is a very good point, Martin, because without technology, this podcast wouldn't even exist, and we wouldn't be able to connect with people from so many different countries. Today, we are going to explore the massive impact of technology and social media on our daily lives, our relationships, and even our mental health.
It is undeniably a double-edged sword, meaning it has both very positive and very negative sides. We love our smartphones because they give us information instantly, but we also hate them because they distract us from the real world.
Exactly. And in this episode, we will discuss our own digital habits, the apps we cannot live without, and whether we think society is becoming too dependent on screens. Just a quick reminder for our listeners, to ensure the best listening experience and audio clarity, we will be speaking in full, extended sentences throughout this discussion.
So, please put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode for the next 20 minutes, unless you are listening to us on your phone, of course, and let's dive into the digital world.
Martin, I want to start with a very honest question. What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you say good morning to your family, or do you reach for your smartphone to check your notifications?
I am actually quite embarrassed to admit this, Olivia, but I almost instinctively reach for my phone before I even open my eyes fully. It has become a terrible habit where I feel the need to check my emails, the news, and my messages before I even get out of bed to brush my teeth.
You are definitely not alone in that habit, because statistics show that a huge percentage of adults check their phones within the first 5 minutes of waking up. I used to be exactly the same, scrolling through Instagram while I was still half asleep. But recently, I have been trying to charge my phone in the kitchen overnight to stop myself.
That is a brilliant strategy, because if the phone is not physically next to your bed, you cannot reach for it comfortably. Do you feel that your mornings are more peaceful and less stressful now that you don't start the day with a flood of digital information?
Oh, absolutely. The difference is night and day. Instead of immediately worrying about work emails or feeling jealous of someone's vacation photos on social media, I have a quiet moment to drink my coffee and think about my plans for the day. It makes me feel much more in control of my life.
I really need to try that because I often feel overwhelmed before I even have breakfast. It is strange how we are addicted to these little rectangular devices in our pockets. If I leave the house and realize I forgot my phone, I feel a sudden panic, almost like I have lost a limb.
That feeling actually has a name. It is called nomophobia, which is short for no mobile phone phobia. It sounds funny, but it is a real anxiety that people feel when they are disconnected. We rely on our phones for everything now: maps, banking, communication, entertainment, and even tracking our health.
That is true. And because they are so useful, it is very hard to draw a line between using the tool and being used by the tool. I sometimes catch myself unlocking my phone for no reason, just swiping through screens because my brain is bored and wants a quick hit of dopamine.
That mindless scrolling is the biggest time thief in modern life. You think you will just check one notification, and suddenly, 45 minutes have passed and you are watching videos of cats playing pianos on the internet.
Let's transition to the biggest culprit of time: wasting social media. Olivia, do you consider social media to be a net positive for society because it connects us, or a net negative because it isolates us?
That is the million-dollar question. On one hand, I love that I can stay in touch with my friends from university who live in different countries. Seeing their photos and updates makes me feel like I am still part of their lives, even though we haven't seen each other in person for years.
I agree that the ability to maintain long-distance friendships is wonderful. However, I often feel that social media presents a very curated and fake version of reality. People only post their best moments, their holidays, their promotions, their perfect meals, and nobody posts about their arguments, their failures, or their bad days.
You are so right, and this creates a dangerous trap called comparison. When we look at everyone else's highlight reels, we start to feel like our own lives are boring or inadequate. I have definitely felt sad after spending too much time on social media, thinking, why is everyone else having more fun than me?
It is a very common psychological effect. There is also the issue of FOMO, or the fear of missing out. When you see your friends at a party that you weren't invited to, or you see people attending a concert, you feel excluded and lonely, even if you are perfectly happy sitting at home on your sofa.
Exactly. And then there is the pressure to perform. Do you ever feel pressure to post things just to show people that you are alive and doing interesting things?
Sometimes I do. If I go on a nice hike or cook a great meal, a part of my brain thinks, I should take a picture of this for my story. It is almost like if I don't post it, it didn't really happen. That is a very unhealthy mindset because it takes me out of the moment.
I think we need to relearn how to enjoy experiences privately. Not everything needs to be shared with 500 acquaintances on the internet. Privacy is becoming a luxury. Speaking of privacy, are you worried about how much data these companies collect about us?
Oh, that is a huge concern for me. It is honestly terrifying how accurate the targeted advertisements are. I was talking to my friend about buying a new pair of running shoes the other day, and 2 hours later, I saw an ad for running shoes on my feed. It feels like our phones are always listening to us.
While tech companies deny that they record our conversations, the algorithms are so smart that they can predict what we want before we even know we want it. It is convenient, sure, but it also feels like an invasion of our personal space. Let's talk about how technology has changed the way we communicate with each other. Do you prefer texting and instant messaging, or do you prefer talking on the phone?
I am definitely a texter. I find phone calls quite intrusive and stressful unless it is an emergency or a scheduled call with a close friend. With a text message, I can take my time to think about my reply, and I can answer when it is convenient for me.
I am the same, although I think we lose a lot of nuance and emotion in text messages. It is very easy to misunderstand the tone of a message. Someone might send a short reply like, okay, and I might think they are angry with me, when in reality they were just busy.
That is why emojis and voice notes have become so popular. I love sending voice notes because you can hear the person's laughter or the sarcasm in their voice, but it is still asynchronous, meaning you don't have to answer immediately like a phone call.
Voice notes are a great middle ground, but I worry that younger generations are losing the skill of face-to-face conversation. Have you ever been to a restaurant and seen a table of friends where everyone is looking at their phones instead of talking to each other?
Yes, I see that all the time, and it makes me feel quite sad. It is called phubbing, snubbing someone in favor of your phone. It is incredibly rude to be physically present with someone but mentally absent because you are checking a notification.
I have a rule with my friends now. When we go out for dinner, everyone has to put their phone in the middle of the table, face down. The first person to touch their phone has to pay the bill. It is a fun game, but it effectively forces us to interact with each other.
That is a fantastic rule. I might steal that idea. It is ironic that these devices were invented to connect us, but in many ways, they have created a barrier between us and the people who are physically standing right in front of us. We have criticized technology a lot so far, so let's balance the conversation by talking about the positives. Are there any apps or digital tools that genuinely improve your life and that you would recommend to our listeners?
Oh, absolutely. Despite my complaints, I love technology when it is used as a tool for learning and productivity. I use a language learning app every day to practice my French. It gamifies the learning process and makes it fun to study for just 10 minutes a day.
Language apps are amazing. I personally rely heavily on map and navigation apps. I have a terrible sense of direction, so without GPS, I would probably get lost in my own neighborhood. Being able to find the quickest route and avoid traffic jams saves me so much time and stress.
I also love listening to podcasts, obviously, and audiobooks. The fact that I can carry a library of thousands of books in my pocket and listen to them while I am cleaning the house or commuting to work is a modern miracle. It turns dead time into learning time.
Another category that has exploded recently is health and fitness apps. I wear a smartwatch that tracks my steps, my heart rate, and my sleep quality. Seeing the data motivates me to move more. If I see I haven't reached my step goal, I will go for a walk in the evening.
That is a great example of technology encouraging healthy behavior. I also use a meditation app to help me relax before sleep. It plays soothing sounds like rain or ocean waves, and it guides me through breathing exercises. It is much better than scrolling through news headlines before bed.
It seems that the key is intentionality. If we use technology with a specific purpose, to learn, to navigate, to get fit, it is wonderful. The problem starts when we use it passively and let it control our attention.
Looking into the future, Martin, do you think our addiction to technology will get worse? Or do you think there will be a movement to disconnect and go back to a simpler way of living?
I think we will see a bit of both. Technology will become even more integrated into our lives with things like artificial intelligence and virtual reality. However, I also think there will be a growing digital wellness movement where people pay to go on retreats where phones are banned.
I have actually considered doing a digital detox weekend myself, just going to a cabin in the woods with no Wi-Fi, no signal, just books and nature. Have you ever tried to go offline for a full day or weekend?
I did it once by accident when I went camping in a remote area, and honestly, the first few hours were anxious, but after that, I felt incredibly free. My mind felt clearer, and I slept better than I had in years. It proved to me that the world doesn't end if I don't check my email for 48 hours.
I think we all need to schedule regular breaks from our screens. It is like a diet, you can eat sugar sometimes, but if you eat it all day every day, you will get sick. We need a balanced digital diet.
That is a perfect analogy. So, for our listeners, maybe the challenge for this week is to try and spend 1 hour each evening completely screen-free. Read a book, talk to your partner, or just stare at the wall. Anything that doesn't involve pixels.
Before we sign off, let's quickly review some of the modern vocabulary we used in today's episode. These are great words to use when talking about technology.
I'll start with scroll. We use this constantly. To scroll means to move the text or images on a screen up or down. We usually talk about scrolling through social media or doom scrolling, which means endlessly reading bad news.
My word is notification. A notification is the message, sound, or icon that pops up on your phone to tell you that you have a new email, text, or update. It notifies you.
Next is curated. I said social media is curated. This means carefully selected and organized. Museums curate art, and people curate their Instagram feeds to show only the best parts of their lives.
We also talked about FOMO. This stands for fear of missing out. It is the anxious feeling you get when you think others are having fun without you.
Then there is phubbing. This is a combination of phone and snubbing. It means ignoring the person you are with because you are looking at your phone.
I mentioned digital detox. This is a period of time during which a person refrains from using electronic devices to reduce stress or focus on social interaction in the physical world.
And finally, intrusive. I described phone calls as intrusive. This means causing disruption or annoyance through being unwelcome. It interrupts your peace.
Those are extremely useful words for the 21st century. We hope this episode made you think about your own relationship with your phone.
Thank you for listening and, ironically, using technology to join us today. Don't forget to look up from your screen and enjoy the real world too.
See you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.